אורח מיוחד עמנו הערב, הדוקטור תיאור זגרוס, שהגיע ארצה מכורדיסטאן, החבל האוטונומי בעיראק. הוא סגן נשיא אוניברסיטת סורן, בעיר ארביל, בירת החבל. דוקטור זגרוס התארח במרכז דיין באוניברסיטת תל אביב, בתוכנית ללימודים קורדיים בראשות הפרופסור עופרה בנג'ו. הוא שהה בלונדון, וברעיון מיוחד לרואים עולם, הוא מספר לעודד גרנות על המפגש המחודש שלו עם מולדתו, כורדיסטאן.
The reason I returned because it's my homeland and the country is going through a change and I so much wanted to be part of that change. That was the main reason I went back. But also it's interesting to see that Kurdistan is shaped in a different way, not like other Middle Eastern countries that we see in that part of the Middle East. Okay. It's a peaceful and quiet place despite all the trouble taking place upon the borders of Kurdistan. Life is still normal and beautiful. But
Dr. Zagros, you live in Erbil. Erbil is less than 1 hour drive from Mosul, which is the capital of Daesh, the Islamic State. Yeah. You sleep well at night?
I think so, and everybody else. If you and I go to Erbil now, you wouldn't believe that you arrive in a city, it's vibrant, life is absolutely normal. You would feel that there is, as if there is no trouble upon the borders. In a way, what's interesting, Erbil, it's more like other parts of Israel, where you have trouble on the borders, but life inside the cities is absolutely normal. I'm here in Jerusalem in Tel Aviv for a few days. I don't see any problems, but I know there are problems upon the borders. And Erbil is, in a way, it's the same. We still have lots of expat communities there. We still have lots of foreigners coming to work there, seeking employment there. Life is normal.
Peshmerga, Kurdish fighters are confronting Daesh, the Islamic State, on both fronts, the Syrian and the Iraqi one. When do you think ISIS, Daesh, will be defeated, and if it's going to happen without boots on the ground, I mean American boots on the ground?
Unfortunately, this war has been raging for quite a few months now. It started not with Kurdish involvement at all. It was mainly Sunni and Shia war. But then all of a sudden, Daesh changed the direction and came to Kurdistan, like you said, in Iraq, Kurdistan, but also in Syria, in Kobani, and other places. Peshmerga forces are gaining a lot, and we've retaken almost all of the lands we lost to Daesh.
But paid a heavy price in liberating Kobani.
Absolutely, but also in Iraqi Kurdistan we paid heavy price. At the moment, in the last 6 months, we've lost 1,300 soldiers. That's a lot in the space of 6 months for a small country like Kurdistan. But it's a war, it's a fight worth to fight for. Because it's about our safety, it's about Kurdish existence in that part of the
But
place.
Can you do it without foreign troops, without help from outside?
It would be helpful to have American boots on the ground, but if not, then we need a heavy armament to Kurdish Peshmergas. At the moment, we are relying on old weapons that we inherited from previous government, and we are fighting Daesh, which they have the most up-to-date weaponry and armament, and we are fighting them with old Kalashnikovs.
How would you define the present situation, the present status of the relationship between our two people?
I think on political level, where I mean politicians and officials, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how strong the relationship is. But
most of it is hidden.
That's what we think.
Away of the public eye, huh?
That's what we think. But on community level, I think there are so many contacts. People are very fond of each other. And it was interesting when Prime Minister Netanyahu mentioned Kurdish independence, and he said clearly that he would recognize Kurdish independence should it happen. And he said Israel would be the first one to cooperate with that state. And it was very well received by absolute majority in Kurdish public in Kurdistan. People were waving Israeli and Kurdish flags together. So on community level, the relationship is intact and it's strong. On political level, I don't know what's going on behind doors. Whether there is any relationship or not, this is not. I haven't seen any evidence.
What are the chances of meeting Israelis on the streets of Erbil?
It's possible in a new Kurdistan, in an independent Kurdistan.
Not for the moment.
Not for the moment. And but having said that, there are lots of Jewish people coming there. Right. You have reporters, journalists coming there, but also you have some people who are, their background is Jewish and working in Iraq, Kurdistan. In my university, I have 2 scholars from America who are Jewish. Teaching.
Iraq is becoming soon not only a nuclear country, but Iran, but maybe also a country with a nuclear weapon. How does it affect the region in general, the Kurds specifically, and also Israel, as far as you can judge?
I think when it comes to that, we are in the state of panic, not only Kurds, but other Middle Eastern countries, including Israel, and more specifically Israel. And Kurds, however, are very worried about it, because for Kurds, it's like history repeating itself, where we were sandwiched between Ottoman Empire on the one hand and Safavid Empire on the other hand in 1500. Right. Okay, so we think that should Iran reach its goal by achieving or developing chemical weapons, and then we will be sandwiched between great powers, because we are a small nation in between these great giant powers. Right. We are deeply worried, and I have to tell you that with the new agreement between America and Iran, Kurdish people are not happy about it, because they think Iran is more cynical. Iran has a different hidden agenda in their mind, and I'm afraid it brings the whole region into danger rather than a peaceful solution.
You are not only an academician, an anthropologist, but also a musician.
That's right, yes.
And you have been exposed to Jewish music, have you?
Absolutely, yes. I've been playing Jewish music for a long time, mainly klezmer
Playing
music.
Jewish music?
Yeah, mainly klezmer music.
Klezmer,
yeah.
Yes.
In Britain, I have 2 bands. With both bands, I play klezmer music, but with one of them, I play lots of klezmer music, and I've been to so many Jewish weddings in London, in other parts of Britain, and so I've been exposed to the music, but also being a violinist. I love great violin players in classical music, okay. And it's a reality that the majority of great violin players and violinists were Jewish. So since my childhood, I've been very fond of some great Jewish violin players.
So you're always invited to come over to Israel and
absolutely. When you have weddings for your friends or whoever, just invite me and I'll come and play some klezmer music.
You just mentioned to me that the best Yiddish singer in Britain is non-Jewish Kurdish.
That's right, a female, Chida Maslan. She plays with a band called Shkoyek. She's Kurdish from Sivas in Turkey, but she is the greatest performer on Jewish music, Yiddish music.
Dr. Zagros, thank you very much. Welcome to Israel. Hope for your next visit. Thank you very much for this interview.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.